So, good afternoon or good evening, as it is my time. Hopefully, you're all having a wonderful weekend. Arsenal haven't ruined it because they're not playing, but they technically have ruined it with Edu's statement. And we're going to go through the panel. I just want to, before we get into talking about Edu, big up to everyone who subscribed to this channel recently, man. It is absolutely flying. It's creeping very close to 64K already. So keep smashing the subscriptions on. Make sure you subscribe to the vlog channel as well. All the guys' links will be in the description in a minute. I'm going to put them in there, so make sure you follow all the guys as well. But Jez, how you been, mate?
Yeah, very good, man. Very good. Well, I have to say, mate, I've got a few things to say today.
Well, no, we'll save it for now, Jez. Save it for a second. But no, listen, at the end of the day, I did all my screaming and shouting yesterday, so I'm just going to sit back and let you guys give your thoughts, because obviously everyone knows what I said yesterday. So, but yeah, we'll come to that in a second. Shig, how you been, mate?
On mute.
No, don't worry. Yeah, I'm all right. Unlike everybody else, I had a meltdown yesterday. I wasn't really surprised by anything that happened yesterday. It kind of made me think, yeah, figures. So it's interesting to discuss what I think will happen moving forward, and whether or not, the pressure has now will change now that, there's a lot of anger as a result of Mr. Edu's comments yesterday. But other than that, I wasn't surprised. So it'll be interesting to discuss it.
There we go. We'll get into it in a minute, mate. Kenny, how you been, buddy?
Yeah, it's been touch and go. But, in terms of like the Edu statement, I think the most like noticeable thing was his body language and his facial expressions. It was one of those things where it was like, oh my God, why? Oh, what do I say now? Because I think what the situation is that there were so many questions, he needed to answer. I don't think even he was convinced that he sold it. He sold his ideas to, to the fans via Sky Sports. But, before we start, thank you, Jeff Shreves. Just all I can say.
Oh,
thanks,
definitely. Yeah, he did well, man. Big up to Jeff Shreves. It's funny because the last person that actually asked any level of decent questioning towards any of our staff at the club was Gail Davis to Arteta 2 weeks ago in a press conference. And he was like, So big up to Sky Sports. I criticise them quite a lot for a lot of things. But Jeff Shreves and Gail Davis, good lines of questioning on both of them interviews, man. So big up to them. But Jez, before you give me your thoughts, I just want to say this as well to everyone, right? I was actually shocked after I came off of that stream that I did yesterday. And this is the audacity that this football club have, in my opinion, right? That they must have thought, we'll get Edu out there. That video will then drop on Saturday morning. Yeah. At lunchtime, we're going to drop a new range of merchandise and everyone's going to lap it up because Edu's gone out there earlier. Obviously, it was pre-recorded. He's gone out there. Everyone's going to be, oh, yes, I can see what the club are doing. Bosh, there's the merch. I don't think it's quite gone to plan. What did you make of the interview overall? And what was the biggest thing that made you think, oh, dear, we're in big trouble here? Because there was quite a lot of things he said that didn't sit right with me at all. But obviously, everyone heard that yesterday. It's all about you, mate.
Be honest with you, mate, I was absolutely appalled. Basically, Edu and the management structure have just turned around to all of us, loyal, long-serving fans, and said, fuck off. We've heard what you said. We're going to do it our way. We don't really give a shit what you lot think. And I was so incensed. I mean, Kenny, we've all, I've seen some bloody bad times at this club. Yeah. I don't honestly ever think I've seen it this bad. And I sat here thinking, to roll out a senior management person to do that interview, I don't think ever in my life of not talking about Arsenal, I'm talking about Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea, Spurs, Leeds, whoever you want to say, heard a management senior personnel say what he said. It's absolutely disgusting. The guy is an absolute arrogant, weak. See you next Tuesday. The guy, I don't know what to say, mate.
The thing that stood out for me, there was a couple of things. The first thing was there's no target, and I've seen people online saying, yeah, but they're not going to publicly announce a target. Well, why? I'll tell you why. Because if they publicly announce a target, we can now hold them accountable to that. Yeah. So now by not announcing where they would like to finish and what the goal is for the season, there's now no accountability for that management team whatsoever. Yeah. The second thing that I found absolutely abysmal was when he said that we didn't want to go out there and get a midfielder to go and sit on top of Xhaka and Partey, basically, because they're going to start games. So it's like, so you don't want to go and find a midfielder better than Granit Xhaka? Is that what you're telling me? Yeah, I thought that was a disgrace, man. Like, genuinely, this guy's been here 5 years, Xhaka.
The thing is,
since for Champions League.
Make a point, Lee. I'm sorry. If you are running a major club, one of the biggest in Europe, which Arsenal are still, maybe not much longer, you have to set targets. You don't hear Chelsea saying, well, we'll look to maybe think about winning the Champions League in 4 years' time. The manager, Tuchel, comes in to a team in total disarray and wins the Champions League.
Yeah, inside 3.5 months.
You know, I'm sorry, that Edu, Arteta, and fucking Vinaigrette, mate, are an absolute deluded, disrespectful to the fans bunch of pricks.
Yeah.
And if I pray to God that if the Arsenal fans, and I hope there was tens of thousands of Arsenal fans that go to the home and away games, saw that yesterday, if they do not give that guy serious abuse, then, you know, they give him serious abuse. I mean, fucking abuse. So his wife can turn around and give us the finger. Yeah. Then there is something seriously wrong with this fan base.
Well, we know there is, mate. They were clapping the team bus instead of protesting. So don't hold your hopes that they're going to be booing and jeering and all that. I do think that if we don't beat Norwich, then I do think there will be a little bit of unrest in the crowd. It's not going to be as bad as like we think it should be. It's not going to be as bad as the Wenger in out brigade that back then. I do think it will get that way if he continues to stay and if Edu stays. Everyone, before I come to Chig, everyone banging on about this tweet from Fabrizio. I'll read it out so you can stop spamming the chat. He's put, there's no pre-contract agreement between Antonio Conte and Arsenal. Conte has no verbal or pre-agreement with any club and he's free. Federico Pastorello, agent close to Conte since years ago, confirms to Freddie Paxton, I take it he's a journalist, rumours about Arsenal pre-deal are not true. So there we go. We're not looking at Conte. That ain't happening as it stands. But yeah, you made some good points there, Jez. And like the thing is, it's frustrating for us. Like you said, what other teams would come out and do that? We see a couple of weeks ago when Jack Grealish got sold to Man City, that the CEO of Aston Villa came out and sat down and he spoke. And he weren't arrogant. He didn't have a chip on his shoulder. He weren't sitting there basically saying F you. He said, look, this is the crack with Jack. He wanted to leave for a Champions League club. We put a £100 million buyout in there. We already knew that this was going to happen at some point, which is why we covered ourselves and we've covered him. Yeah. And off of the back of it, we'd already planned for this day. Yeah. What was the planning when we signed Willian and Runnison last summer and now all of a sudden flipped it a year later to kids? Like, it's just, mate, I would have loved to have been sat in that room with Jeff Shreves and Edu yesterday, but it wouldn't have been able to go to air. But Chick, let me come to you, mate. What did you make of it, and what was the eyebrow raising thing out of the whole thing for you, mate?
I think for me, first of all, I'm a bit surprised that they sent Edu out there. That to me was actually the most surprising thing of the whole ordeal. I mean, some might say, "Oh, he had to go out there." Why? the window had finished. Arteta's already under a lot of pressure. So short of you telling us that he's going, why exactly did you need to come out? So that to me was the most surprising thing of the whole thing. Not his attitude or where he came from, or the nonchalance, or some people were talking about the nervousness of the way he was sipping his drinks and stuff like that. To me, it was the purpose. I want to know what the purpose was. Now, I know you say, okay, well, it was to drive sales, and it would have surprised me because Arsenal are known to do that tactic of make an announcement and then plug the latest trading top. That they do that. That is just the way they move. But in terms of a strategy, they've only put more pressure on themselves, because now you say to yourself, all right, cynics like me, who've always said to myself, there is no way that Eddie will sack Arteta. After that interview, it left me feeling the exact same way. Can I envisage a time where I see Eddie turning around and saying to Arteta, do you know what, it's not working? And after yesterday's interview, I still don't think that. That's why when people are talking about in the chat room right now, check out Fabrizio's tweet. What am I looking at? What am I looking at that should change my mind from anything I thought of 10 seconds earlier? Because I never believed in the damn pre-contract deal anyway. When do Arsenal work like that? When do Arsenal move like that for players? How much more managers? So people need to calm down and think about the way Arsenal move first before you start buying into what Fabrizio says or what other journalists say or stories out there. Just think about Arsenal and the way they move. The way they move is that they believe in this method of theirs. Whatever you think, what do you want to call it, a process? What do you want to call it?
It's now a project, isn't it? It's a project now because the process failed.
What do you want to call it, a project? Whether when I grew up, when I was growing up under Arsene Wenger, it was known as a transitional period. And
that's the thing. I watched a podcast today. I'm not going to embarrass the guy by saying who it is. The host of the thing was actually all right. I get on really well with him, but the person he had on, it was like, boy, I just don't understand what some people see, and it's like so switched off from reality of the situation. It's like they almost don't want to accept where we are, and how far away. And it's like, that particular person, and this is a running theme within our fan base is, but we can't compete with City, we can't compete with Chelsea. We can't compete with this team. We can't compete. Well, how are Brentford competing with us? How do Burnley compete with us every time we play them? How do Norwich, the last time they were in the Premier League, get 2 draws against us? All these other teams compete against Arsenal. It's about time we started competing against these big boys, isn't it? And I know over the course of a season, we're we've got to play 38 games. You've only got to play the big teams. And how many big teams are there that you'd say they're really top class? We've just mentioned 2, maybe Man United, maybe Liverpool as well. You could put all 4 of them in that bracket. Then you've got the North London derby, there's 5. Other than that, we should be beating every other team in the league. And then them 5, we should be competitive in every single one of them games. Whether we win them all or not, we should be beating Tottenham. We're supposed to be better than them, aren't we? Chelsea, we can beat. We've proven it before. So why can't we do it more consistently? Man City, they're unbelievable with their squad as well. But again, we've beaten them at Wembley a few times. Why can't we do it in the league? And it just winds me up when the narrative is we can't compete with these teams, because all the little teams, with all due respect, can always compete with us. And the gulf in size from us down to them is about as big as, or if not bigger than it is up to the top teams. So from us. So I don't get that, Cheek, man. It just winds me up, man.
I don't know about you. I just miss the feeling of a Saturday or a Sunday and expecting to win. Do you know what I mean? Like that being the first overriding feeling. It's the first overriding feeling I get is, right, how are we going to fuck this up? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that is a damn shame. That is a big fall away from the way I used to feel. You know, even under the Wenger days where the problems admittedly started, you know, there were Wenger days where I expected to win games, expected to win a big percentage of games. Whereas now it's just you just think to yourself, what? For me, it's now a case of what's it going to take? What is it going to take? That's why I can't hope. That's why when people say to me, and my mum says this to me, and she asked the question a lot that you asked. And she's a big Arsenal fan, but she's admittedly fallen out of love with the club. She has.
I think there's a lot of fans like that. A lot of fans are just so far away from the club from where it used to be.
Yeah,
I can't be bothered with it.
And she goes, you know, she's asked me flat out, you know, what will it take for you to, you know, really like wish that Arsenal lose a game? And I said, I can't ever hope for Arsenal to lose a game because I don't think there is any specific game that will cause Arteta to be fired. And then it's not just a case of Arteta being fired now. Yesterday's interview with Edu shows that he may even be a bigger problem.
He is a bigger problem for me. I said that yesterday on my stream. It was like, this guy can actually actively get rid of the manager, right? But he's now sitting there trying to justify why we have wasted 150 million quid.
Yeah, for me, that's sorry, I know I'm talking a lot. I'll let Kenny come in. But I just think for me, the most disturbing thing out of all of it was, all right, let me try and understand your strategy. Your strategy here was that you would rather spend 160 million on future maybes than current success. So you'd rather,
and let's not forget, at the end of the season when we finished 8th, we were out of Europe this season. The whole narrative peddled by everyone was, oh, well, now we've got no Europa League. We can get on the top 4 march. Yeah, because we're only playing Saturday every week. Right, okay, so now we're going to get the players to do that. No, we're now going to turn it into a project for the next 4 years. Yeah, and the reason they've done that is because they don't want to sack this manager. They've invested so much time, money, and marketing into this guy that if they sack him, they've all got to go. Yeah, so now it's, right, what we'll do is we'll spin it, and we're going by a load of youth setup lads. And this is another thing as well, right? I've seen people say, yeah, but the resale value. Do you think Chelsea buy a player looking to fucking resell him?
But
do you know what I mean? Like, they buy players for now to win now, and then they'll bid them for top money because they got top people doing the job anyway. Yeah.
I wouldn't even mind if that's the case. But when do Arsenal ever actually do that successfully? So I don't even understand.
Alex Iwobi's our biggest ever sale.
Yeah. Why is that part of our plan? Even if we did it successfully, okay, I can understand why that's our plan. But we don't do that. So let's pipe down with that whole resale value stuff. I think for me, my biggest disappointment was that Edu's explanation was, and mind you, I thought if I'm someone like an Aaron Ramsdale, I'd be enough demotivated by Edu's little interview. He basically said that he bought average players because there was more likely a chance that they'll be sold later down the line because they'll be on less money and less wages, and therefore they'll be able to be sold easier, as opposed to a James Maddison who will be on a more expensive wages. And I thought to myself, so that's the reason you didn't buy good players, basically.
Think if you're Sambi Lokonga, if you're Sambi Lokonga and he's sitting there saying, well, we didn't want to get a midfielder to sit right on top of Xhaka and Partey right now and push them.
Yeah.
Right? Because Xhaka and Partey are going to start every week. If you're Sambi Lokonga, you're sitting there thinking, why am I here? Man's playing for Belgium. Do you know how hard it is to get in that Belgian midfield?
Yeah. He's an awful talker, Eddie. Right? That's what made me realize he is an awful talker. Like, that's not a language barrier thing. That is
no, it's just pure.
Whatever your strategy was going into that speech, You don't fucked it up.
Oh, they made, listen, they have completely nosed that up, yeah, because like I said at the very start of this show, I think they deliberately set that up for that time to drop at that time with Sky, because they were dropping that culture merch or whatever it was about a 2-hour period later. They actually thought, well, we've done 150 mil, yeah, we've done most of that, and everyone was in the stadium, it was nearly full. Now we've done another couple of signings or whatever, Tomiyasu, yeah, we signed him, we've now done 150, yeah, everyone will be happy that we're lapping it up again. Norwich is probably sold out, yeah, or close to sell out because of that. The merch was flying anyway. What we'll do is we'll get Edu to come out there, yeah, and then we'll drop some new merch. And I don't think it's gone the way they wanted. He was a shit talker, man. And do you know what? People kept telling me that, oh, I like the way Arteta speaks. I like the way Arteta spoke in his first press conference and his second and his third. After that, he turned into a complete control freak. Yeah, close the door and all that one. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, they're a pair of control freaks, mate. And then if you add that in with what Vinay said earlier in the week about we need unity, we need this, they are really, really trying to manipulate a lot of people here.
Well, yeah, what they're essentially saying is, if you just back up and give us a chance, when we are actually at our absolute optimum, ideal situation with no injuries, no problems,
no COVID,
nada,
he said. He actually said no COVID as well.
When the grass length is absolutely at its absolute perfect length, you will see this team play maybe well.
It's a joke, man. It's an absolute joke. Kenny, let me come to you, mate. You've been waiting very patiently. And big up to over 1,000 people watching live. Make sure you smash the likes up. This is more interesting than watching the England international game. Make sure you follow all the guys' socials. They're in the description of the video as well. But what did you make of it all, Kenny?
Well, the thing about it is that one of the things that I knew it was going badly, because I just want to, he talked about Willian's situation, and you know how they bought him for experience, and how they, like I said, they pinned their hopes to him, and then at the end of the season, the guy that you pin all your hopes in to actually lead the youngsters, in terms of learning their trade, be a mentor for the players. It's basically told you to your faces, whatever, there isn't a project, it's not working, I don't feel comfortable. He's telling you something's wrong. This guy has won a lot at Chelsea. He's won leagues, FA Cups, he's won everything and played in big games in Europe. And he's telling you this is not the level. And rather than try and fix it, obviously he wasn't a great player anyway. They decided, oh, this has got to stop. But another thing that really worried me was this one, where Jeff's question is, what can you tell me about Arsenal's transfer window and the thinking about it? The club has spent the most money of any Premier League club, but Arsenal fans are underwhelmed. This is his answer. I'm not going to go through all of it. He didn't even answer the question. The first thing he said is that I have not seen these players playing together yet. That is one of the reasons I can see the wider context, right? That he says he signed 6 players under the age of 23, right? Now, what he should have said, right? And then he started boasting about the fact that he's got all these young players, on longer contracts, and they re-sign and renew contracts. Jeff didn't ask him that. Jeff asked him the question about the context around the squad and these 6 players. So what the answer should have been, and what we should have done, is that what Jeff was asking is that you've got areas around the team that we needed to desperately, and I mean desperately, sort out. In his answer to the first question, not once has he touched on the areas you mentioned. Further down in the interview, he talks about the signing of Thomas Sayu, and he says that Thomas Sayu is a right back. No, he's not.
No, he's
Thomas
not.
Sayu is not a right back. He could play anywhere across the back line, he said. We needed a right back, we needed a central midfielder, and we needed a top-class centre forward. After 150 minutes, not once has he spoke about that. All he spoke about is how we play. He's desperate to see us play together, and how, he's boasting about getting all the players out of the squad. That blah blah. That's not a question.
The thing is, sorry to cut you off, Kenny. Yeah, sorry to cut him, mate. Yeah. But the thing is, this is where, like, they pick and choose where they do their interviews. Yeah, because Jeff Shreves, as well as he did in that interview, he could have pressed him a bit more for me. He could have said, well, you didn't answer it, but he can't do that because it's a professional setup. It's got to look like it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whereas if that was us sat in front of him, we'd be like, yeah, but Edu, you haven't answered the question, mate. Yeah, and we'd press, but they'll never speak to people like us, mate. Yeah,
that's
sorry,
the thing. It was the inability to answer a question that troubled me, and I knew that this interview wasn't going to go well. And then it was like the lack of urgency, you know, in terms of our current situation. You know, I saw some of his answers coming. I knew we were going to get the situation that, Arsenal played the league champions and the European champions, and then he's going to talk about injuries and COVID. Well, I'm sorry. Teams get injuries. Newcastle and Aston Villa last season were the most hit by COVID. And so Man City, guess what? They went and won the league. So COVID affects everyone else. So my problem...
Well, Pulisic didn't play against us because of COVID, and Kevin De Bruyne didn't play against us because of injury.
Guess what? They won comfortably. And that's what always been my problem with the situation and what Eddie's doing. Is that another question I want to ask? Josh Kroenke is here in this country because of the Amazon and All or Nothing documentary. With all due respect, you're in charge. Why weren't you answering the question? Because the fans want to know from you, hey, what do you think about your employees' performances? We want to know from you why and how you're assessing Arteta's performances this season, losing our first 3 games, and your feelings about the 2 8th-place finishes. We also want to know about your feelings about the performance of your technical director and your chief executive. We don't want to hear from Edu. You're the one in charge. We want to hear from someone in charge. Doesn't matter whether you're not a football man or not and you want to delegate it. I'm sorry. It's like I said before, during the Brighton game, I criticised fans for not having a go at Josh when he was in the stadium and that they missed an opportunity. Well, sorry, Sky should have, remember they pay the Premier League and basically have an overall control. They should use their authority to say, look, Josh, we know you're in the country. Can we speak to you instead of Edu? And they just insisted on that because they're the biggest partners bigger partners than
how much do they pump into football in this country? Billions.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So why was Josh Kroenke not explaining this? Because at the end of the day, he's not a stupid guy. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about football, but he knows about business. And
he knows how to finesse people.
And someone can easily prepare him, like I said, a transcript of the questions going to be asked, and he should be able to answer because he should know what's going on in his company. Also, he should know that we've basically had no goals this season. We've been easily beaten in every game, and we had very few shots on target. And as I said before, why was Josh Kroenke, who's still in this country, the head of the club, not being forced to sit this out? Because we're going to see him in the documentary, which we're going to see at the end of the season.
He was here, Kenny. Let's be real.
What's he here for?
The reason he was here.
What is he here for?
That's probably the reason he was here. It was the first home game. Of course, he was going to be there. It's for
and
the
he's still in the
documentary.
country now. He's still in the country now. He's going to be here all season whilst this documentary is going to be it's going to be like filmed, and it's probably going to cover this season. So, Josh, the big thing I want to say: what are you here for? If you don't want to answer questions, go back to the United States. Go back.
Do you remember when? Sorry to cut you
again.
You're
not useful.
Do you remember when he said after this whole Super League thing, and he came out tail between legs? Yeah, right. And he said, "I want to speak to the fans more." As he spoke to the fans once since then. When was that? That was what, April, March?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you come on here, mate, and we'll ask you some proper questions. Yeah. Yeah. Why don't you come on here? Yeah. And I know somebody at the club will probably watch this, so go and download it. Do what you got to do. Go and give it to Josh and tell him I'll interview him. All of us 4 on here, we'll put some questions to him. Yeah, because we're asking proper questions, not questions that are pre-thought out that Sky Sports will give you that you're not going to be challenged on. We'll ask you proper questions, mate. So why don't you come on here and Kenny Ken can fire away at you, Jez can fire away, Chiggy Chig can fire away, the chat room can fire away, because I'm fucking sick of it. I can't lie, yeah. I'm absolutely sick to death with. Listen, I know they're very wealthy people, yeah, and they're wealthy because they're ruthless, yeah. Like you don't become a billionaire if you ain't fucking ruthless. Yeah, you don't become very successful at business if you ain't cutting people off left, right, and centre just like that, or manipulating what you've got in front of you. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, mate, this is our football club. Yeah, not theirs. Yes, they own it, but it's our football club. They own the fucking stadium and all the fucking training ground and all that bollocks. without any fucker turning up or buying merchandise, you ain't got a football club. Yeah, you might be able to fool a load of people that want to go and buy the merch every season. Yeah, but I'll tell you something now. When I see that interview yesterday, I've already bought the away kit this season. You guys know that I'm normally decked out in everything. Yeah, I am not buying fuck all else from this club until Edu and Arteta are both gone. Yeah, I will refuse to pay for anything. I've told everyone I know, do not buy me nothing Arsenal related. I'm not putting a penny into that football club. Yeah, because it's got to the point where it's like, do you know what? I run a channel that gets a lot of views. It's got a lot of people watching, 1,200 now. Yeah, I can't sit here and criticize and then go, oh, I'll do another 60 quid on that. I'll do another 7. And it's got to the point where I'm just like, do you know what? No, I ain't doing it anymore, man. That 65 quid can pay for a dinner, or it can pay for an electric bill, or it can pay for me to go down the beach, or it can pay for me to fly to Ibiza or wherever I want to go. Yeah, I'm absolutely sick to death of it. And he sat there, that Josh, and he lied through his fucking teeth and said he wants to speak to fans more. Well, here's your invitation, mate. You're welcome on here. Yeah, let's see if you want to come on here, mate. Go on, Kenny. Sorry, mate. I'm going toilet way.
No, sorry, there's no problem. All I'm trying to say is that's the thing. That's the thing. The fans have been crying to hear from the Cronkies, preferably Stan, but Stan ain't doing. They want to hear from your son because, in all intents and purposes, Josh runs the football club. So if Josh is running the club, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you, and we want an explanation on why, once again, you're spending the money, but you spend it poorly, in our opinion. Another thing we want from you as well is how highly do you value the Arsenal Football Club, and what sort of standards you're expecting, and why are you employing YTS trainees in graduate positions? That's what we need to hear from Josh, because right now a majority of the people want the Cronkies out, and one of the reasons why they want the Cronkies out is because they haven't got this mentality that, I didn't, the first red flag, I didn't buy Arsenal to win trophies because they wanted to protect Arsene Wenger because that he was in the midst of a 9-year trophy drought, or sometimes of his own making. So that was a red flag. And then we didn't hear from him. That's another red flag. And then, we a lot of fans feel that he doesn't spend enough money. So when you're here, and this is an important time for the club, you're silent. Why? That's my biggest beef. You know what I mean, guys?
Totally agree, Kenny. It's fucking laughable, man. The sad thing about this is I just can't see any way out of this at the moment. How bad have we got to be that these idiots are thrown out the club? I mean, all right, if we lose Norwich or Burnley, and I said yesterday, on the WhatsApp thing, he has to go.
Yeah.
But it seems to me, Edu and Vinay are just maybe to hide their own frailties, are protecting him because they're.
Of course, it's all. I think the thing with football nowadays is that everyone who's involved in football, and I think at all levels, it's all about house protection. And I include sometimes people who, certain people, because if you look at now football, there's a lot of people from Chick. You know this as well. If you notice that normally when you see all these like award ceremonies, you always used to see the same old faces, ex-players and journalists. Now we're seeing people who we regard as normal people, like super fans, or what you call them, YouTubers. You know what I mean? They're appearing on these things. So even they are now in what I call arse protectors. So, and I think that's the problem. It goes from top to bottom. And the biggest arse protectors will be Vinay, Edu, and Mikel. And then Mertesacker, he's another one. I mean, people seem to. Why isn't he explaining himself? Because he's part of this transfer committee. Per seems to be this quiet guy. Everyone loves him, but because he's the head of the academy. But hang on here, he is part of the transfer committee, so he's getting a free ride as well. So that hasn't gone unnoticed by me about Mertesacker's part in all of this. Because if the Arsenal are going on this youth project, then surely, Per Mertesacker will definitely be putting through recommendations, because guess what? He's head of the academy and he's looking after youth players. So again, there's a lot of people who are in hiding there and praying that we get a resounding result against Norwich and that we play well against Burnley and that somehow we'll win the North London derby and they think, phew, we've got more time. That's what they're banking on.
Can you see us beating Spurs, Kenny? Can you? Two of you? Can you see that?
Chick, I'll leave that one to you, mate.
In all honesty, I don't know. I don't know because, I think it's a combination of not only are we not playing well, but actually Spurs are looking efficient. And they're looking like they know what they're doing. And we look so far beyond that. Like what would help is knowing who our starting lineup is, knowing who our best players are, knowing who's going to be out there would help. I do think we need Gabriel out there at some point very, very soon, just to see what our defense looks like, just to shake it up a little bit. Tiramisu or whatever his name is, I could see him being a centre back rather than a right back for us.
100% he's going to change to a back three at some point, and he'll be in back three, and Cedric will be at right back. Let me just quickly say about Gabriel. We said you want to see what he can do when he's out there, yeah? Right? We see what he could do last season, Chig.
Mate, I was the first one to call it out, but at the same time, you've got to look at it and just say to yourself, at the end of the day, it's not working in its current form. So hopefully, maybe you find a correct combination with Gabriel, i.e. a Ben White and Gabriel, i.e. a Tiramisu and Gabriel. Whatever will work needs to work in order for us to be able to begin to move forward. Regardless of whether we get rid of Arteta or not, we need to find a long-term solution with these players. So
the thing for me is, like, I've said this quite a lot, that if they'd gone out there and done Maddison, Bissouma, Aarons, then all of a sudden the expectation goes up, and now we're going to be in a top 4 charge, I think somebody's mic's echoing when I'm talking. I don't know whose it is, but I think it might be yours, Chig. Hang on, 1 second, mate. There you go. But yeah, if we had gone out there and we had signed players that are now players, but they're now players, but they're 25, like Maddison. Bissouma, I think, is 25 as well, isn't he? So it's not a million miles above the age.
Hour's 23, isn't he?
Exactly. Max Aarons is 22, 23.
Bissouma's 24.
There you go. So Bissouma's 24. He's a year older than the goalkeeper we signed, but he's 2 years older than Odegaard, right? Aouar's a year older than Odegaard. Maddison's 3 years older than him, but Maddison's now 25. You could have Maddison in that midfield for the next 5 years comfortably, maybe even more. The way players are going on and prolonging their careers now with all the fitness and the dietitians and the all the facilities that they've got, the physios and stuff like that. Look at Ronaldo the other day. I know he's a bit of a different story because he's just a freak of nature. The guy's 36 and still banging in last-minute winners. And he's going to rip the Premier League apart when he starts. Trust me. Because that guy's as fit as a fiddle. But this is the thing. Yes, he's probably not the right example to use, but there's other players, that are in their 30s that are slapping it still. And James Maddison's 25. Why did we not spend 70 on him? 20 on Houssem Aouar. Apparently last summer we wanted Aouar. He's now half the price. We didn't even look at him. Like, that makes no sense. That's now £90 million that you've spent in the positions that you badly needed. I think every Arsenal fan could agree that midfield was our weakest position.
But Edu didn't want to put a player on top of Xhaka.
That just made me laugh. It didn't. It made me very angry. When I read that, I was like, okay, well, we ain't got Xhaka for the next 3 games now because the geezer got sent off. Or is it 3 games he's banned, or is it 1 game?
3 games.
3 games. There you go. So he's now gone for 3 games. So he's going to miss Norwich, Burnley, Tottenham, right? Thomas Partey, we can't rely on him at the moment because he's always injured. So why didn't we go and do Maddison and Aouar? We could have still bought Sambi Lukonga. Now you've bought 3 decent players. You could have bought Guendouzi back, and now you've got 4 players in there. On top of Thomas Partey and Granit Xhaka if you wanted to keep Xhaka. Yeah. Now you've got 6 midfielders in that centre mid position that will boost you up the table, and all you've done on that, is 20 on Hussein and 70 on Maddison. That's 90 million. You've still got 60 million to spend on goalkeeper if you want one, a right back that we needed. We could have still brought Tavares, or Tavares as Kenny would call him, at left back. Yeah. We bring back William Saliba, so we would have saved 50 million on not signing Ben White. All of a sudden, you look at that, and you've got Max Aarons or Lamptey at right back, for example. You spent about the same sort of money, but your squad's so much better, and it's ready for now for a charge for top 4. Instead, they've gone, fuck that. We're going to go Project Youth because we want to keep that manager in a job because we can't sack him. Yeah, we don't want to sack him. So if we go with players for now, and he's sat 15th at Christmas, yeah, or 10th at Christmas, yeah, the fans are going to fucking run riot, and we're going to have to sack him. They sacked Unai Emery at the first opportunity they could sack him because they didn't want him because they wanted Arteta. Yeah. So the first opportunity to get Arteta back in, or get him in and get rid of Emery, they did it because they wanted to do Arteta. So if we go and give them all them players, all of a sudden the pressure's now on Arteta to deliver, and he won't deliver because he's fucking useless. So if you're sat there 10 points off top 4 at Christmas, or 15 points off top 4 at Christmas, they would have to sack him. Now, doing a youth project, yeah, for another 3 or 4 years in the hope that they come good, yeah, most fans are buying into it. I know exactly what their business model was this summer, and most have bought into it again. It's a disgrace.
Lee, can I just throw this in the mix? And I'll throw this to Chig and Kenny and yourself. There was a big talk, wasn't there? Big talk about selling Xhaka to Roma. Yeah, he wanted to go. He wanted to go. So what concerns me here big time is the delusion of the board, and I'm talking here about Edu, Vinay, and I'll bring Arteta in, is did they actually really want to keep him because actually he's part of their project? I don't know. But the fact that he made that statement that he didn't want to put a player on top of Xhaka, when we all know he's an absolute fucking prick. He's disrespected the Arsenal faithful. Yeah. He gets himself sent off in a critical game against Man City, where we know we can't really beat them with our current 11. We're certainly not going to beat them with playing it with 10. So does that not actually sum up what this Arsenal management structure is about? Because, you know, we could have got Aouar.
Yep.
We should have got in my book for Basuma.
He was begging to come. Both of them
wanted to come. And I just don't understand the process of what...
Jess, you answered your question. Jess, the answer's in what you just said. You know the answer. Your first sentence regarding Xhaka, the answer's there. And the answer to your question is, and I've heard from rumours, that the plan was always for Xhaka to sign a new contract at this football club. The Roma thing was a smokescreen. It was a flirtation. He went along with it because he wanted to see if the grass is growing greener. But I think verbally, from the rumours I've heard, that Granit Xhaka was always going to sign a new contract.
Maybe they told him to flirt with him. Yeah, flirt with him. I think the plan all along, give you a pay rise, mate.
The plan all along was for Granit to sign a new contract. You know, obviously during the Euros, you know, obviously they were looking at situations. I think Granit obviously had I don't know where his family were unhappy because of the abuse that he was getting, and the fact that he lost to football fans. But I think Mikel Arteta, Edu are massive Granit Xhaka fans, and I think that majority of fans' hopes that he would not be part of the club were quickly dashed. I think they see him as a leader as a team, and I think that they're looking for an excuse.
He led it last week, didn't he?
I think they're looking for an excuse to get rid of Aubameyang as captain and reinstate Xhaka as captain. Xhaka would be, dare I say it, our version of Jordan Henderson, and that's how the club look at him. And I actually said this to
Kenny. That's how they look at him. That's not how I look at him, Kenny. The guy's had 11 red cards.
I know you don't, but that's how the club look at him. That's how the
Yeah,
club
no, it
became.
is. But he's had 11 red cards in his career, and people are probably sitting in the chat and go, "Oh, but Sergio Ramos has had 50 or whatever, or 30 or whatever." Listen, Sergio Ramos, yeah, is fucking one of the greatest centre backs I've ever seen. Yeah, clutch moment 100 level with that guy, man. Champions League finals, he'll bang a header in stoppage time to get it into extra time, and then they win. Always comes up with top draw moments. Yeah, can somebody name me 3 top draw moments Granit Xhaka's done in 5 years at this club?
Well,
I can't.
apart from scoring a screamer against Hull, when you know, after he scored a screamer against Hull, Nottingham Forest in the League Cup in his first season, you could say the goal against, I don't know, because he scores against Chelsea, but they were in cup games, weren't they? So really,
I
apart
was
from
at Newcastle up in the clouds when he scored a free kick. I actually
and
nudged Ollie and I said,
obviously
"Ollie, he's
the
banging
goal he
that in."
scored against on Boxing Day.
But we're struggling though. That's what I'm saying. We're struggling.
We're struggling because you know where he has performed well was in the FA Cup finals. But at the end of the day, Granit Xhaka is, you know, the reason why I think a lot of people see how do I say it with respect. I think there's affinity with Granit Xhaka because I still feel a lot of our fans retain huge respect for Arsene, and because Granit Xhaka, Arsene's son's Granit in his second last season. I think
hit the nail on the head. And this is why our fans don't.
Yeah,
like
that's it. And I think that's why Granit Xhaka is probably one of the very few links to Arsene. And the fact that he's stayed in the first team since he's been here for the last 5 years is testament to Arsene's good decision in buying him. In some fans' opinion,
you guys think that, like, because I just said, like, obviously that's why our fans are always criticizing Pepe. Like, I watched another show earlier. I've watched a few podcasts today, a few videos and that. And a very big podcaster out there said that he thinks his flop of the season will be Pepe. And I'm sitting there and I was just flabbergasted. Like, this guy is very well respected in the podcasting game, yeah, right? And he sat there and he was like, to be fair, he did say at the back end, I hope he don't flop. But he goes, I think he will flop this season. And I'm like, but what are you basing that on? Like, he had 16 goals last season, 10 assists. What makes you think that he's going to flop? But if you look at the narrative, yeah, let me come to you on this, Chick, because obviously me and you have a little bit of banter with Saka and all that, yeah? And Saka's birthday today. Happy birthday to Saka. Somebody put a tweet out today about Saka. Oh, he's been our most reliable player in the last 2 years. I went, mate, he ain't scored for 7 months. He ain't scored in a league game for 7 months, yeah? And he just gets a free pass because he's come through foul end. Yeah. But Nicola Pepe can score 16 goals in all competitions and 10 assists. But no, he's a waste of money. 72 million down the drain. I genuinely don't get it. What do you make of that, Chig? Because like, I see the Pepe slander daily on Twitter, man. But the Saka propaganda, it's like Saka's level's better. What is he though? He don't score goals. Yeah, and he's in an attacking position. Pepe in that attacking position bagged 16 last season. You're on mute, Chig. Chig, you're on mute, mate.
I'm here, mate.
Go on, mate.
I think for me, Toby said it best, to be fair. He hates Pepe. No, he's never really given Pepe a fair shake or a fair shot at the dice. We've called it nice and early between me and you in our watch-alongs. Like, if for some reason it's like Pepe doesn't get the love that he should get for the influence that he delivers, you know. And I know that's because he's a dribbler, he's a chance taker. So because he's a chance taker, naturally, half the time that you dribble, you're gonna lose the ball in stupid places. You're gonna take on the same move at the same time and often move it out. So he is someone who is naturally going to frustrate, because unless you see through those things, then you're not gonna rate him enough. In addition to the fact that prior to last season, he wasn't really playing consistently. He didn't really hold down his place until he was forced Arteta to hold down his place. He forced Arteta to look at him and say, look, I am producing results. One thing I will say for attacking talents is I would say hold fire judging them under Mikel Arteta. There's a reason that he gravitates towards signing defensive signings over big attacking ones, mainly because he doesn't know how to assign an attacking player. When was the last time you saw Mikel Arteta sign a striker or sign a, I don't mean a man.
He's had 2 attacking players out of all the players we signed. That was Willian. That's it.
Yeah. So there's a reason behind that, and I think it's because of the fact that, I don't think he knows all the qualities that he wants in an attacking player, and that I think very much shows his tactic. So yeah, and how innovative he is, which I don't think he's very. There's nothing about him that makes me think that Arteta is innovative or inventive or someone who will be able to outsmart their opponents through attacking play. So I would say, for those people who are naturally watched, try not to attack Mikel Arteta too bad. And I think what you may have to do is also just to wait until Arteta goes before really seeing the potential of Pepe.
So the thing is, like, there's a guy who's just put this comment in the chat. I'd imagine it's a guy, maybe it's a girl. That says Pepe's 4 or 5 years older. Well, that's irrelevant, isn't it? Yeah. Erling Haaland's 20 years old. He's bagging goals for fun. He's breaking Champions League records. What's your point? Like, at the end of the day, just because he's 20 years old, turned today, it doesn't mean that he gets a free pass for a whole season, mate. I don't necessarily blame him for playing every game pretty much. That's on the manager, because we should be playing Pepe. We paid 72 million quid for the guy. But if he's not delivering, then you bench him. But every time Pepe plays and scores, he's then benched again the next game. Give Pepe the run of games that you give Bukayo Saka, and watch Pepe bag 25 goals.
Lee, it's bigger than that. Sorry, cut you. Lee, it's bigger than that. I think if you move forward into the game, Arteta's got a massive problem. We've got a big conundrum. We've got an elephant in the room that I think that, with the exception of this show, I don't think any other show or any other Arsenal forum is allowed to discuss this. We've got a massive problem in attack where we're trying to fit players into pieces that don't fit. The conundrum, I name you all the players and you tell me how does this work? Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Pepe, Saka, either Aubameyang, Lacazette. How's that all going to work? Because all I see is players going into other people's spaces.
Yeah.
Our manager has got a massive decision to make in that area. He's got a massive decision. He's also got a massive decision to make at left back regarding Kieran Tierney's form. Now, obviously, I've changed the subject a little bit, but these are decisions that big managers are paid to make, and we've got a YTS trainee making those decisions.
No, it's facts. I've just keep smacking the likes up as well, people. Make sure you subscribe and follow all the socials of the guys, Chig's channel, and Kenny and Jez's links are in the chat as well. Sorry, not in the chat, in the description as well. So make sure you follow them. I've just brought up Bukayo Saka's stats for last season. He's played 1,611. No, sorry, that's Pepe's stats. 1,611 minutes in the Premier League. 10 goals, 1 assist. So that's a goal every 160 minutes, which is a game and a half, just over. Yeah. Now go to Bukayo Saka. He's played 2,561 minutes of football in the Premier League and scored 5 goals, 4 assists. So he's averaging a goal every 500 odd minutes. That's a goal every 4 or 5 games. Yeah. And he's getting an assist every 6 games. Yeah. He gets a free pass because he's 19, 20. Yeah. But Pepe don't get a run of games, plays less minutes, doubles the goals. Yeah. Oh, and he's inconsistent. How's he inconsistent? It genuinely makes no sense. The same with Smith Rowe. Smith Rowe's not registered an assist since February. Yeah. But this guy's going to play every week on the left wing. Why? Yeah, and it's like
he imbalances the team. He shouldn't be playing. If you can't, can't play him with Odegaard in the same team. Can't do it. It doesn't work.
And that's the thing. It's either one or the other. Yeah, and the one has to play at number 10. Yeah, and this is the thing why I would have signed Maddison, because Smith Rowe and Saka, as much as I think they've got good careers ahead of them, and I do think they're good players, Yeah, they should not be the shining lights of leading us forward, dragging this team forward. Because if that's what we're doing, yeah, well, they ain't scored or assisted for 7 months, and we're 20th in the table. Yeah, and I'm not pinning it on them, but I'm just making an obvious fucking. Well, it's not obvious because the majority of people don't think it's obvious. Smith Rowe's not got an assist for 7 months. Saka's not scored for 7 months. Take out the 2 months of the summer until the season started again. 5 months, 5 months each. Yeah, but we should not be relying on 20-year-old today, happy birthday Saka, to be dragging this team forward when we have got a £72 million player who ended up, if you want to go down the stats route, with a better goal contribution than any fucking player in our team last season. Yeah, and he was benched for most of it. Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying, though, Lee. For me, you know, these are where Arteta's attacking signings. You almost, I know you're going to hate. I know your reaction to this, but this is just the fact of the matter. You almost can't judge Arteta's attacking signings on stats like goals and assists for the simple reason that, yeah, honestly, it's almost like you have to judge them on tackles, and they're used in such a functional manner that you can't judge them on the normal kind of attacking stats that you would use for other players. It's a shame, but that just seems to be what it is, because Kenny Kenner said this a long time ago, and when you really look at it, it's true. Can you see a game where Saka don't start, in spite of the stats you just pulled up? Look at how reliant we are on the way Saka plays, and the way we play. If we have any success at all, don't get me wrong. Yes, I do think Pepe contributes a lot, but I think it's also due to the fact that the driving runs of a Bukayo Saka, not because of anything he's done statistically, but because of the way he plays and how reliant we are on him essentially being our ball carrier. I hate using American terms, but that's basically what he does for our team. He's someone who's our ball carrier, and you know, this is the problem that we have. I hate everything about Arteta football. You know, this is not even a personal thing. I hate everything about it. Just the logic of it, the understanding of it, how we execute it, you know, what the end result is supposed to be. I hate everything about Arteta football because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't utilize what we are so famous for as an Arsenal team, which is functional, free-flowing football. And this is why, as bad as it got with the Wenger times, and I know you, man, hate Wenger, as bad as it got with the Wenger times, it was never this. I would have taken Wenger times every time over this bullshit. Because at least every now and again, you got a decent game.
Mate, I'd even say I'd take Emery right now over this manager, because at least if, like, we all remember the first game of the season against Man City, Unai Emery's first ever game. We were like, who the fuck is that kid with the long hair in midfield? We're like, rah, Guendouzi, he looks a baller, bruv. Yeah, where's he now? Balling for Marseille and France. Yeah, because this manager's outed him and he's got £9 million obligation or option to buy him at the end of the season. 9 million. Yeah, if that was Chelsea, they'd be bidding him for 40.
Imagine Guendouzi under Wenger. Imagine Saliba.
I could imagine him under Unai Emery for another fucking 2 seasons. He'd be fucking top drawer. I like Guendouzi, man.
Imagine Saliba under Wenger. Listen, that man is I would say a good 40% to blame for what is happening right now. Don't get it twisted. But in terms of illustrating the problems we have right this second, there are just certain players that shine under certain managers. And I can't think of one that is part of our team right now, which is why I'd waste no time. I just get rid of him now.
Do you think there's a player, like all three of you, I'll put it to all of you and the chat as well, is there a player that he's actually improved, this manager, since the players got here? Or since he's got here with the players that are already here that are still here? Is there a player that he's actually...
All he's done is he's given Bukayo Saka more responsibility and for our attack. But in terms of like improvements, I wouldn't say so. You know, has he improved Granit Xhaka? Not really. Not for what we want. Thomas Partey's gone backwards under him, and the players that win you games, your Aubameyangs, and I say Pepe's and XX. I can't say Aubameyang, right? And one person, one person, my fellow, my sister from Finsbury Park, Sophie Nicolau, says, but she's right. She said Arteta won the FA Cup with Unai Emery's team. Now you can't get right or wrong. You know what I mean?
True.
So basically, he hasn't actually.
And apparently he inherited a mess, Kenny. He inherited such a mess.
but Aubameyang was still scoring at 4 goals under this, especially in cup.
And now he's not. Now he's had a full season under that manager. He scored fuck all last season.
Exactly.
I honestly don't think. I can't think of one player that has improved, like Kenny said. In fact, I can think of many players that have regressed. I think Tierney's got worse.
Yeah,
Aubameyang is ruined under this prick, and I'd even go as far to say, personally, I think Leno's got worse.
Yeah.
No,
I'd agree with that. Totally agree with that. I think Leno's been shit under this manager.
Arteta has brought fuck all to this party to actually make this club go forward, improve any players. Because I don't think he has the technical ability and brain to do it. Honestly,
Look at David Moyes. Look what David Moyes did to that Man United team. He was before they sacked him, and he wasn't there the full season. Evra went backwards.
7 months.
Vidic and Ferdinand went backwards. Carry all these players that at Sir Alex got 10% out of their ability. All went either to the natural levels or went 10% the other way under David Moyes. We've got David Moyes as Arsenal manager. Danny Kelly's right.
Yeah, totally agree.
Mate, it's mad. It's actually mad. But you know what? David Moyes is actually a better manager. He's got Mikel Antonio firing. They've got a style of play. Yeah. They can defend. They can score. They can have a shape with the ball and without the ball. And you can actually see what they're trying to do. And they made it into Europe for the first time they've ever finished the club.
We're talking David Moyes' Man United version, not
Man
David
United.
Moyes. He's finally been horsewhipped into, or probably had a lobotomy and realised, you know what? I've got good players. Just let them win. I want to win.
Do you know what I think it was? I think it was that stint in Spain. Yeah, I think.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say. No one is saying that Arteta may not eventually go on and get it, but don't give him our club as his starter product. There's so many times it pisses me off. It pisses me off that we actually did it. We were actually so short-sighted that we thought, let's give our mess of a club to a cone man.
It's mad. It's actually mad. Where do we go from here, Jez? What do you see happening this season? Like, I know I asked you that the last time you was on as well. Obviously, it changes from week to week because this club is just. There's a reason I can put content out every day. Put it that way, because there's always some drama at this football club. But
I calm down, Lee. We don't want people accusing us of
grooming
from Arsenal's failure and getting a rise out of it. You know, you know how much
we're seen as grooming negativity, Kenny. Grooming.
Look, you know, like I said, good vibes come from good performance in winning football matches. The end of the day, it's a results business. People react negatively to bad results, bad interviews.
I like negatively when we're sat 20th in the table, finished 8th last season, 8th the season before. Yeah, I think 6th the season before that, or 5th the season before that. Yeah, fourth. Oh, top four's a trophy. No, it ain't. We ain't won a title for 18 years at the end of the season, which is the joint longest, in our history. We're currently on a 67. This is the worst start to a season for 67 years. Jez weren't even born.
No, not that old.
67 years was the last time we were this bad at the start of a season. He's breaking record after record after record. He's broken about 30 records that are unwanted records. I think the last time we lost 4 league games in a row, we got relegated.
Did.
And that was what, 1913? 13.
Who's going to buy us into the Premiership?
Buy us back in.
Spurs relegated.
Exactly. We get the Qatari sheikhs, the Qatari princes, bro. Yeah, get them over because we brought our way back, innit? Like, come on. At the expense of Tottenham, wasn't it? Was it at the expense of Tottenham we brought ourselves into the league?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Mad. Yeah. So where'd you see happening, Jez? Where'd you see this club going? Do you think Arteta's here for the long haul? Do you think they will come to a point if results go wonky that they go, do you know what? We can't go with this. The stadiums are empty. It's getting volatile. You know, people are walking out at 45 minutes, an hour, 70 minutes. They're booing. We see Edu getting the guy the other day said, yo, what are you doing? And then his missus giving a finger. Like, why are you even there? He's at work. I don't take my bird to work. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, what's that all about? But what do you think, mate?
Well, she was there, mate, because she's getting free prawn sandwiches, isn't she? And champagne.
And the sushi platter in the executive boxes is very nice. I can vouch for that.
let me put it this way. If Arteta is still here in November, yeah, with the current run of what's going on, I can honestly say I reckon Arsenal will finish 14th, 15th next season. If Arteta is binned by the end of October, I think we might achieve the dizzy heights of 10th, 11th, if we get a decent manager in. But my biggest concern also is Edu, because Edu is protecting Arteta because he's got a fucking game plan, that prick. Yeah. And as I said at the beginning of the podcast, Lee, you know, I've seen some bloody bad times at Arsenal, but I've never seen it as bad as this. And I do fear for this club because if they, God help us, if they give Arteta free rein to take us through to after Christmas, mate, I can honestly see us getting relegated.
It wouldn't surprise me, Jez, like honestly, because I think Aubameyang's given up. I genuinely do.
I think a lot of players have given up with him. I said this 3 weeks ago. I think there's players like Aubameyang, Lacazette. I mean, isn't it fascinating? We bring Partey in, yeah, and never been seriously injured. He's been injured 3 times now.
Man was pushing him back on against Tottenham when he was injured.
Yeah.
How fucking dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? People are sit there and cuss off, Guendouzi's this, Guendouzi's that. Guendouzi's played for France more times than that fucker ever played for Spain, mate.
Mm.
Yeah? And let's be real, Spain were wicked back then, but so are France now.
Mm.
Yeah? It's not easy to get into that France midfield, mate. Yeah, and it's the same as you couldn't get in that Spain midfield. It was bloody hard work. Yeah, and this is what winds me up with it. It's like anything to protect this manager. And you just said that Edu's protecting him, yeah? Edu's protecting him in one way, but I do think they don't see eye to eye on a lot of things. I think there is a little rift there. Yeah, because when I was listening to Turkish, big up to Turkish, go and subscribe to Turkish London. When I was listening to him after I did my stream yesterday, he said that, and he made a great point. He said the way that he was explaining these signings, the 6 signings, he said it's almost like they were Edu signings, not Arteta signings. He goes, some of them might have been Arteta and Edu combined. He goes, but some of them, it seemed the way he was explaining it, like it was more him. And like when I read it back, I was like, I can maybe see that. Yeah, and I think that's maybe because there was a story come out that said that they've had a bit of a lover's tiff and all that, and like fucking, like they're not really seeing eye to eye on everything. Yeah, which listen, you ain't going to agree on everything. We never agree on everything. Yeah, and we talk to each other every day, the same as them. But I do think the reason he's protecting him is number one, he's nicking a fucking living, Edu. Yeah, right. Number two, yeah, he has to back it now because if he does get rid of that manager, I can see him getting sacked as well. Mm. Yeah, and if he gets sacked, he will never get another fucking job in world football, Edu. Yeah, he has just done 150 million quid on dross. Yeah, I don't care whether these players come good in the future. It's what we're doing now. We've waited long enough as Arsenal fans. We've been patient. Yeah, even though we've all spat our dummies out and we've all got angry and aggressive and been on protests, YouTube channels, screaming and shouting, Twitter accounts, whatever. We have been patient for nearly 18 fucking years, mate. Yeah. And all they've done is just do the bare minimum whilst fleecing a global fan base for merchandise. Yeah, that club is far from skint. Yeah, and they could have done another 150 this summer if they really wanted to. Yeah, there's no financial fair play. Yeah, and they've deliberately gone down this project youth. Yeah, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again. They will 100% at some point this season, when either Odegaard bags a brace, which is probably fucking unlikely. It's like seeing a blue moon. Yeah, fucking, or Saka and Smith Rowe bag a couple of goals, and we go and slap a team 3, 4, 5, and it's all the youngsters that score. They will fucking tweet out Project Youth, because they have seen thousands of Arsenal fans on Twitter saying Project Youth, Project Youth, Project Youth. Yeah, 100% they will tweet that this season. Yeah, because he sat in that interview yesterday and was going, oh, well, we changed our philosophy. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You thought, fuck, what do we do now? We finished 8th. We've got no Europe. We've got a bit of money to spend. Fuck, we don't really want to sack him. Why don't we go and buy a load of kids? Yeah, we've done £24 million on a goalkeeper who's been relegated 3 times in 4 years.
Yeah,
a bench warmer. Yeah, come on. You can't tell me these people know what they're doing, man.
Well, you know what? You know, like the narrative is now, is that the narrative is that once again, I don't know who's leaked it, whether it's a rumor or maybe someone from the, or maybe a journalist has made it up. They're now saying, well, they'll write a sign Ramsdale because Leno won't sign a new contract and he'll be leaving in the season. So if he, you know what, certain managers do.
For nothing.
Yeah, they said, right, if Leno won't sign a new deal, we could just say, right, this guy's taking your place. Because there's a rumour I heard is that Ramsdale claims he's been told he's starting on next Saturday. Again,
yeah,
rumours, not come from my mouth, but these is what you've heard. Again, it's from an unscrupulous source. But again, it's all speculation. Because we're not agreeing with the strategy of the club, we're all trying to work out what they're trying to do because it doesn't make sense.
True.
If they want to go down the Project Youth, yeah, and they want to go for a certain profile of, let me move that because that's really bad lighting. And they want to go down a Project Youth, yeah. Why would you loan out Saliba, yeah, who's 6'4", built like a brick shithouse, yeah, cool and casual on the ball, can ping a 60-yard diagonal, can do everything Ben White can do, but he can head a ball as well. So why would you loan that guy out? Yeah, and all you get from these Arsenal fans is, oh, but he's not got Premier League experience, and he should have gone to Newcastle. Yeah, like because then he would have had a season in. Well, okay, so what? Go and be relegation fodder when he can play in the Europa League. Yeah, under a manager who's actually won trophies and titles as a manager, you're going to go and be relegation fodder. Why would Saliba do that? Yeah, he's in the Europa League. We're not. Yeah, Guendouzi's Bellerin's in the Europa League, and he's at Betis. They play Celtic on Thursday. Yeah, next Thursday they play Celtic. It's like these players have gone and they've kind of upgraded because they're in the Europa League and we're not. Yeah, and it's like this is what I don't understand. And all you get out of Arsenal fans is like every single excuse to cover this manager. What has this manager got over these people, man? Like I genuinely don't get it.
You know what I think it is. I think, again, it's a conundrum. You know, Arsenal and Man United fans are in a situation where they've both had long-term managers. They had managers who've basically ruled the roost to a certain extent that when they left, you had to create new positions around the football club because that you know, we were behind. Both clubs were behind in terms of how the modern club is run in terms of Man City and Chelsea, and that's what's happened. But you know, in Man United right now, reason why Man United channels are getting a lot of views is because it's so far in, so far out. But you know, Man United, you know, we were killed for Man United's results in their last 2 positions, the way we are now. But Man United were like us under Arsene Wenger. We wanted to win the league and his Champions League, and that's why we wanted Wenger out, and that's why some Man United fans want Solskjaer out.
Yeah.
So that's the situation. But because there's an divide. You know, Man United and Arsenal do not traditionally like to sack managers, especially because they've had 2 long-term managers. It's psychological.
That's the biggest problem. And then when you've got Sky Sports dressing up a top 6 race, yeah, what do you mean a top 6? 6th is 5th loser, mate. Why don't you dress up the title? But they can't sell a title, yeah, because there's only a couple of teams in the title, so they can't make it dramatic. I was watching that Cava Solikol, yeah. And he was reading a text message out and he goes, I'm going to give you a 3-word text. And then he listed 5 words that the text said. It was like, are you thick, mate? Like, genuinely. Yeah. Like, he was talking about Tomiyasu, a 3-word text message, and like they make it so dramatic and they speak like this.
Oh, Sky, they're all the same.
It's like
They're
they
all the
drag
same.
out 15 minutes worth of news and make it last 24 hours. It's
Look,
like, come on.
Sky want to compensate for everything. They want to compensate for the fact they haven't got England live matches at Wembley. They want to compensate for the fact they ain't got the Champions League. So everything they do is big business. Women's football. Now, they're now... you look at women's football. They've been neglecting the women's football for such a long time and shown no interest. All of a sudden, it's the next best thing. That's what Sky do. Any highlights package they have, the whole world has to know it's on Sky. The whole world has to know that Sky have got the Premiership.
But you know what?
Rights.
That's why I like being here, Kenny. Yeah, because Spain ain't got Sky Sports. Yeah, they don't have Sky out here. You got Sky Italy, you got Sky Germany. Yeah, you got Sky in the UK. They ain't got Sky here. Yeah, it's DAZN. Yeah, and I can't understand half the commentary, but it's so much better listening to Spanish commentary than it is listening to the same people. Yeah, boring the life out of me on Sky Sports watching it. Yeah, so I just sit there with it on DAZN, and I'm like, it's helping me pick Spanish up as well, by the way. Yeah, but it's funny because like they'll go on the mad one, then they'll go Jack Grealish. Yeah, it's funny listening to foreign commentary, man. But they dramatize everything, and it's like obviously they're in competition with BT Sport. I get that, but I just think like the way they dress things up, it has lowered standards because same with the Champions League. It used to be the European Cup. Yeah, the Europa League used to be the UEFA Cup. What is this UEFA or Europa Conference crap? I mean, come on, it's just another competition, yeah, to make another position in a league worth dramatizing. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But we're going to wrap this up in a minute. Chig, any final thoughts, man?
No, I mean, it's kind of it's a shame that we are where we are, and it is what it is. In terms,
that's all it is, Lee. It's money.
It is. Go on, Chig. Sorry, go on, mate. Go on.
Yeah, it's just a shame. I think it's gonna take a long time, I think, to repair this job unless the longer it takes to sack him, the longer it takes to repair the job. It's as simple as that.
100%. And you said earlier, sorry to cut in here, you said earlier that you never want Arsenal to lose. And I know none of you three do, yeah? Right, for me personally, every win this guy gets is another day longer or another week longer he keeps his job. Yeah? So it's like, I said against Man City, I hope they batter us. And then hopefully he gets sacked after a 5-0. And I predicted the 5-0. I predicted the goals, all that, like in the first 20, the red card and all that. I should have put money on it. I'd be on a yacht over there rather than sitting here streaming on a podcast if I predicted and put money on it. And it's like, I don't deep down want Arsenal to lose, but I want Arsenal to be great again. And under this manager, every win is holding us back. Yeah, so short-term pain for long-term gain. That's how I see it.
But that's what they're saying about now. That's what these guys. That's what the club's trying to say. We're not going to challenge for a title. We probably ain't going to get in the top 4. We're not even probably going to get in Europe. But give us 2 or 3 years, we're going to be bossing. But what they don't understand is other clubs.
Players in there that are match ready now. Basuma 24, Maddison 25, Aaron's 23 or whatever he is. Yeah, we could be pushing for a top 4 place, and we could be getting ourselves up there.
Yeah, but every club, you've got to realise is that Arsenal's not the only club who's got this sort of long-term plan in a few years to challenge. The teams that should never ever challenge us, like your Leicester's and Aston Villas, full well that in the next 2 or 3 years they're going to think, well, hang on here. If we stay in the Premiership and knock on that door around Europe, we want a top 4. So they're doing the same thing. So it's not unique what Arsenal's saying they're going to do. But again, one thing Chig said about Arsene Wenger being 40% responsible for what he do. One thing Arsene Wenger has left us, which I'll never agree with, the term and the buzzword resale value, because he was doing it 20 years ago.
Yeah, Nicola and Elka and all them ones, man, back in the day. Although, to be fair, it did pay for the training ground and Henri, so we can't really cry about Anelka. But there was loads of others. And this is the thing. It's like, I said this right at the start of the show. Why are you buying players in the hope that you can sell them? You should be buying players in the hope that they go and win you a title.
Well, Liverpool are doing it. it's two big clubs with small club mentality. Liverpool do it a lot, don't they? They used to do it before, and the last time they did it, remember with Coutinho, made a profit, and they justified that by using that money to buy a goalkeeper and the best centre half in the country.
Yeah. Big up to everyone who's watching live. Still over 1,400. Big up Troops as well. If you ain't by some miracle subscribed to him, man's like slapping it on subs, man. It's jokes. You're touching 300. You're not far off 300k, man. And I see you trending all the time. He's trending all the time, man. Number 3, number 4, number 5. Big up to Troops, man. Big up to everyone who's watching live as well. Make sure you smack the likes up. Subscribe. We're touching 64k. Yeah, we'll get there one day. The 100k is incoming. And make sure the pinned comment in this chat is my vlog channel. Make sure you go and subscribe to that as well. Over 6k on that, so thank you. And all the guys' links, Chig's channel, Kenny and Jez's socials are in the links as well. We're going to end on this question, yeah? So I do want to wrap this up. I'm starving. But greetings from the States. Serious question. Could this Arsenal team win the championship this season? Well, as in, if they qualify for promotion. What do you mean, mate? Like, do you mean could we win a title this season? If we get relegated, I think we've got no chance of ever coming back, if I'm being completely honest. I'll tell you the one thing it will do. It'll get rid of every fucking div in our fan base. Yeah? If we get relegated, it'll get rid of every div in our fan base. Yeah? Every single one of them. It'll just be gone. Yeah? They'll go and support Man City or Chelsea or someone. But yeah.
Arsenal won't allow the situation to get... You know what? Arsenal will not allow the situation for us to get relegated. Just not going to... They didn't spend 150 million pounds. Even those who love Arteta so much, they will pull the cord because it's just not going to... They're not going to let it happen. The fans won't let it happen. And the ball won't let it happen.
They've invested a lot into this guy. They're coming out with Vinay. When was the last time?
They have to be serious. They have to be concerned if we don't beat Norwich and Burnley because they've sold the fact that, we played the European champions and the league champions. We did that in the first 3 games. We did that in the first 2 games under Unai Emery. We played City at home and Chelsea away. And guess what? Yeah. City was a walk in the park for them, but the last 20 we should have got back in that. Ozil missed a great... He didn't control the ball. Yeah, and then Chelsea, we were there, Kenny. We battered Chelsea that day, and they've done us 3-2. Yeah, Aubameyang, Iwobi, and Mkhitaryan were just missing sitters for fun. Like, it was bad, but we were competitive in them games. Yeah, we ain't been competitive. We weren't even competitive against Brentford. Yeah. Oh, look at that motor, white Ferrari convertible. It's probably Aubameyang. Yeah, he's come to meet Edu on the yacht in the sea. But no, it's sad, man. It is really sad. And the thing is, like, you say that like they'd have to get to that point where they'd sack him if it got that bad. Yeah, I'm not so sure, mate. I'm not so sure. They've put so much into this guy. Yeah, that I think it's to the detriment of the club. Yeah, and I think that I don't know why they're doing it, but they obviously believe in Arteta suddenly being a great manager. Arse protection is one of the biggest commodities you have in business, especially when things go wrong.
It's mad.
So
it's mad.
They'll have to say, you know what, I'm not having this, because the simple reason is that you can protect a manager for so long, and doesn't matter how long you hold it off. Football results are the key in football. Doesn't matter. This ain't the 80s where a club can get relegated and a manager keeps a job. Dare I say it, God bless his soul, John Lyall in the 70s and 80s with West Ham got them down and get them up. Although in 1989 they got fed up and finally sacked John Lyall when I thought he should be given time. But this is a different era now. It's a different,
money infiltrated the game, and it's now you have to get instant success. We've done 150 million, mate. We've done more than a lot of stadiums have cost in this country to be built. Yeah, and we've done that in one transfer window on 6 bang average footballers. So, but listen, we could sit here and talk about this forever. Big up to everyone who's watched live, man. I will be back again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time. But I will be back again tomorrow. Chig, you got anything coming up, mate?
Honestly, the last couple of times I tried to speak on it, Kenny was just going on. It's moving out. I'm like,
back to the start of the show where we sat there for half hour listening to YouTube.
Anyway, just a couple of things here and there. Keep a lookout. I've got some Chick Flicks stuff I'm going to release today, so keep a lookout on Chick Flicks.
There we go. Kenny, you got anything coming up? The boxing last night, the Scouser, MMA, Bosh.
You know what? In terms of like, I was out, doing a few things, and I watched the last few fights. So in terms of boxing, I don't know, man. The good thing about it is that there's loads of boxers who are getting live shows on Sky, so I suppose I'll watch them. But it's the Arsenal that's really, really, concerning me at the moment. I'm not enjoying my boxing because Arsenal are stressing me out at the moment.
Kenny, just buy a load of popcorn or a popcorn machine, to make it, and just sit there on match day, just eating your popcorn, mate. Yeah, it's going to be bad all season. Just go with it, man. I've accepted it. I'm in that acceptance stage now. Yeah, I've gone past the screaming and shouting on watch-alongs. I'm just going to sit and laugh now. Because if I don't laugh, I'm just going to be angry for 3.5 hours on a watch-along. So just get a popcorn maker, mate. But there we go. Listen, thanks to everyone. Jez, you got anything coming up, mate?
This week? No, not really, mate. Nothing to think. Well, I'm just hoping that we see some improvement at Arsenal, but I doubt it. So there we go.
Nice one, lads. Thank you again. And big up to everyone watching live. Make sure you smash the likes up, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to Chig, follow the guys' socials. All links are in the description. Follow the pinned tweet, that channel, my vlog channel. England are winning 3-0 now, apparently. And they've had about 90% possession. Almost like Man City Arsenal, isn't it, really? but yeah, I'll be back again tomorrow. We're out of here. Arteta out, Edu out, Vinay out, and Josh, you can come on here, mate. And then we'll have a chat with you, mate. Yeah, laters.